The early Middle Ages, spanning from the 5th to the 10th century, is often seen as a dark age. However, this period was crucial in shaping European societies and their fashions. While less opulent than later eras, clothing in the early Middle Ages served both practical and social purposes. It reflected the wearer's place in the social hierarchy, occupation, and cultural identity. This exploration of early medieval fashion delves into the fabrics, styles, and accessories that defined the era. From the simple tunics of peasants to the embellished gowns of noblewomen, clothing told a story. Natural dyes, woven into durable fabrics like wool and linen, provided a vibrant palette. Join us as we uncover the fascinating world of early medieval textiles and fashion. Discover how this era, often overlooked, laid the foundation for the sartorial elegance of the High Middle Ages. In the early Middle Ages, clothing served as a visual marker of social standing. The clothes you wore instantly conveyed your place in the world. Elaborate garments and precious jewelry were reserved for the elite, showcasing their wealth and power. Royalty, nobles, and high-ranking church officials donned luxurious fabrics like silk and fine linen. In contrast, commoners wore simpler, more practical clothing made from readily available materials. Wool and linen were the staples of everyday life for farmers, artisans, and laborers. These fabrics were durable and well-suited to the demands of physical labor. The colors and decorations of clothing also reflected social status. Bright colors, achieved through expensive dyes, were a privilege of the wealthy. Intricate embroidery and embellishments further distinguished the elite from the common folk. Clothing served as a constant visual reminder of the established social order in the early Middle Ages. It reinforced the distinctions between classes and played a role in maintaining social stability. Men in the early Middle Ages wore clothing that was primarily functional, designed for work and daily life. The tunic, a simple T-shaped garment, formed the foundation of a man's attire. Reaching to the knees or slightly below, tunics provided freedom of movement. Trousers, often loose-fitting, were worn beneath the tunic. These were typically made from wool or linen, depending on the season and the wearer's means. Leather belts, often simple in design, held the trousers in place. The choice of fabric depended on social status and occupation. Wool, readily available and warm, was favored by peasants and laborers. Linen, cooler and more comfortable, was preferred by those who could afford it. Silk, a luxury import, was reserved for the nobility and clergy. Men's clothing in the early Middle Ages may have lacked the elaborate styles of later periods. However, it served its purpose well, providing comfort and practicality in a world where physical labor was the norm. While practicality dictated the basic garments, men in the early Middle Ages also used clothing and accessories to display their status. Wealthier men adorned their tunics with decorative trim, embroidery, or even precious stones. These embellishments served as visual reminders of their wealth and social standing. Cloaks, often made from heavier wool or furs, provided warmth during colder months. For nobles and high-ranking officials, cloaks became an opportunity to showcase their status. Expensive furs, such as sable or ermine, marked the wearer as belonging to the elite. Headwear also signified status. Simple caps or hoods, often made from wool or linen, were common among the lower classes. Nobles, on the other hand, might wear more elaborate hats made from finer materials and adorned with jewels or feathers. Accessories, such as belts, pouches, and jewelry, further differentiated men of different social standings. A simple leather belt sufficed for a peasant, while a nobleman might sport a belt made from precious metals and adorned with intricate designs. Section 5. Women's Fashion, Simple Elegance. Women's clothing in the early Middle Ages, like men's, emphasized practicality and modesty. The tunic again formed the base layer, worn long and flowing to cover the entire body. Over the tunic, women wore another garment, typically called a gown or a kirtle. These gowns, reaching to the ground, were often held in place by a belt worn at the waist. The sleeves of the gown varied in length and style. Some gowns featured long, flowing sleeves, while others had shorter, more practical sleeves. Wool and linen were the primary fabrics for women's clothing, just as they were for men. However, women's garments often featured more decorative elements. Embroidery, woven patterns, and contrasting fabrics added a touch of elegance to their attire. While the styles may seem simple by today's standards, women in the early Middle Ages took pride in their appearance. They used the available materials and techniques to create garments that were both practical and visually appealing. Section 6. Women's fashion colors and accessories. Modesty was paramount, but color played a significant role in women's attire. Natural dyes from plants and insects brightened woolen and linen garments. Red, blue, green, and yellow added vibrancy to the somber palette. Accessories completed a woman's ensemble. Belts, made from leather or textiles, were practical and decorative. Head coverings were essential for all social classes. Veils, often linen or wool, covered the hair. Jewelry, though simple, added elegance and status. Brooches, often bronze or silver, fastened cloaks or shawls. Section 7. Textiles, from wool to silk. Wool reigned supreme as the most common textile in the early Middle Ages. Durable, warm, and readily available, wool met the needs of people across social classes. Sheep were raised throughout Europe, providing a steady supply of this versatile fiber. Linen, made from the flax plant, offered a cooler and more comfortable alternative to wool, especially during warmer months. Though more time-consuming to produce than wool, linen was valued for its breathability and smooth texture. Silk, a luxury import from the East, remained a rarity in the early Middle Ages. Its high cost and limited availability made it a fabric reserved for the elite. Silk garments signified immense wealth and status, setting their wearers apart from the common folk. The majority of textiles were woven at home on simple looms. Women typically managed the spinning and weaving, turning raw fibers into the fabrics that clothed their families and communities. Section 8. Centers of textile production. While most textile production occurred at the household level, certain regions emerged as centers of specialized textile manufacture. These areas developed reputations for their craftsmanship and the quality of their fabrics. Flanders, in present-day Belgium, gained renown for its wool production and weaving. The region's access to high-quality wool and skilled artisans made it a major supplier of woolen fabrics throughout Europe. Italy, particularly the cities of Venice and Florence, emerged as centers for silk weaving and trade. Italian merchants established trade routes to the east, bringing back silk and other luxury goods. Ireland, known for its linen production, supplied fine linen fabrics to both religious and secular markets. Irish linen, prized for its quality, became associated with luxury and refinement. These centers of textile production played a vital role in the early medieval economy. They generated wealth, fostered trade, and helped to spread fashion trends throughout Europe. Section 9. Natural dyes, colors of the early Middle Ages. The vibrant colors of early medieval textiles came from natural sources. Plants, insects, and minerals provided the dyes. These dyes possessed a unique beauty and depth of color. Woad yielded blue hues from pale sky blue to deep indigo. Madder root produced shades of red from scarlet to deep crimson. Weld yielded yellow and gold hues. Combined with woad, weld created green shades. Dyeing textiles was time-consuming and labor-intensive. Section 10. Jewelry and adornment, status, and belief. Jewelry in the early Middle Ages symbolized status, wealth, and belief. Elites wore precious metals and gemstones, while commoners used bone, wood, and glass. Brooches fastened cloaks, shawls, or tunics. They ranged from simple iron to elaborate gold, silver, or bronze. Necklaces added color and elegance, made from glass, bone, amber, or stones. Rings, worn on fingers, thumbs, ears, or nose, were decorative and symbolic. Jewelry often carried religious or symbolic meaning. Crosses symbolizing Christian faith were common motifs. Amulets, believed to ward off evil or bring luck, were popular. Section 11. Conclusion. The evolution of medieval fashion. The early Middle Ages laid the foundation for the evolution of medieval fashion. While practicality and social hierarchy dictated much of the clothing styles, there was still room for personal expression and regional variations. The use of natural dyes, the development of textile production centers, and the symbolism embedded in jewelry all contributed to the rich tapestry of early medieval fashion. As we move into the High Middle Ages, we will witness a surge in trade, urbanization, and new artistic influences. These developments will usher in a new era of fashion, characterized by more elaborate silhouettes, luxurious fabrics, and a greater emphasis on individual style. The simple elegance of the early Middle Ages will give way to a more opulent and refined aesthetic. Stay tuned for part 2 of our journey through medieval textiles and fashion, where we will explore the sartorial splendor of the High Middle Ages.
Absolutely. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more captivating content like this. Your support means the world to us and helps us continue creating quality videos. Thank you for watching and being a part of our community. Remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Your support keeps us going.